That's it. Yes. Thank you so much, Hormuz, Basil, and Rabi, and thank you for your coming all. My name is Khaled, pronounced he, him. I'm award-winning author, podcaster, and journalist. I'm the founder of Dar Nuwas. My background is journalism and writing. I started working as a radio journalist when I was 9 years old for a radio program in Syria. I'm Syrian, live in London right now. My project called Dar Nuwas, Dar refers to house in English. Nuwas refers to the like one of the greatest actually queer poet, classic poet of Arabic, was born in Al-Ahwaz in Iran, and he raised in Iraq, Baghdad, and he wrote in Arabic queer poems. In 916, he passed away. In the beginning, actually, of my talk today, I would like to ask you a question, guys. I would like to know from you, how many Arab LGBTQ plus writers do you know or you read before? If you like, you can answer in the chat. Okay, Elif, now you know one, me. My name is Khaled, as I said. I'm a queer writer and I write queer and LGBTQ plus stories and books. Let me introduce you after this to Abu Nuwas. This is a photo of him. I stole it from the internet to show it to you guys. It's an illustration of him. He died, as I said before, in 814, and he is one of the remarkable queer poets, as I said, classic. He wrote in Arabic. Dar Nuwas, why I call it Dar Nuwas, not Abu Nuwas. Abu also means father in Arabic, Nuwas, his name. So it's like about continuity. We are his, like the new generation. It's like we are his grandchildren. So we are Nuwas. We are around the house of Nuwas. We will continue what he started before ages. So that's the idea. And also it's like collective opinion, like my team and I, we decided to call it Dar Nuwas, to make that we are not starting from the scratch. Also, it's for the young generation and the young Arabic queer speaker around the world and in the UK. They know that it's not something new we invented. It's not a white culture we copy. We are inheriting something happened 100 years ago. Guys, they are my books, the books I published and won awards in Sweden and Germany. I write in Arabic, my mother tongue, my first language, the language I feel comfortable to write and to express my thoughts and my ideas, my frustration also. My first book, Salam Lip, which you see the first one on the left, was published in Sweden in 2018, in German in 2020, and it talks about my personal journey. I would say 50%, and 50% is it's creative nonfiction book about a queer refugee came from Syria to Europe to start a new life and remember his hidden and invisible life back in Damascus. My second book, called Gateway to the Sea, the one with the Palestinian scarf. This is the German translation. I also wrote it in Arabic based on 9 testimonies of Arabic queer people who crossed the Mediterranean came to Europe to start also new life and navigate the democracy and the human rights. My books, as I said before, I wrote them in Arabic. They've been published in Swedish and German. They got awards. I've been nominated really also to other awards. I've been my writing were recognized, reviewed in the mainstream media, recommended for Christmas books in 2019 and for in the Swedish public service, the Swedish television. Also, I got award from the Swedish radio for a queer short story. I wrote it about Syria and Denmark, a love story between Danish and Syrian guy. I celebrated the success. I was feeling, I didn't care what language I publish, as my books are published and recognized. Until actually one of the reviews in the Swedish media came in 2020, and they said, shame on the Arab publishing houses that Khaled Alesmael's books are not published in Arabic. That was the headline. And it was really big article written in SvD. It's like a really big newspaper in Stockholm. Actually, that shocked me and also disappointed me and made me take the language like really as a serious matter. And I start to think of it like, yeah, I'm writing in Arabic, but my books are not published in Arabic. And what kind of change I'm doing in the like this approving communities, or like with my family, starting with my the people I know at my community who are speaking Arabic, they wherever they live, back in Syria or the UK, in Sweden or Germany. So I started to think like of it seriously, and I wrote to many publishing houses in Beirut, in Amman, in Dubai, in Italy, but it's like Arabic publishing house. They ignored me, or they just rejected the manuscript because it tells the truth. It talks untold stories about the hidden life. I never actually, in my writing, attack any beliefs or religion or like communities or like kind of particularly Islam or Christianity in the Middle East or Judaism, but I just wrote the truth, and I tried to actually include everybody in this story and to create tolerance and accepting. But my manuscript both were rejected. In the beginning, like sometimes I feel frustrated, sometimes I feel privileged because I feel, oh, good. So I'm writing stories that untold, and it like important, like kind of, it can make change if it will published one day. So I started to think of Dar Nuwas because I think we can create our publishing house as queer writers and queer community and publish in Arabic for the young people and the children to read in their language. Because also the like Arabic speakers, they receive our stories and our like our life as queer people and LGBTQ plus people, like in the news, like this story of Sarah Hijazi, who killed herself in 2020 in Canada in her exile. She became a refugee in Canada because she was brave and raised the rainbow flag in Cairo in a music concert. And due to this, she had to apply for asylum in the Canadian embassy in Cairo. And even when she moved to Canada and she tried to start a new life, she couldn't. She left us. She ended her life and left a note saying like life was unbearable anymore. So she was bullied. Her family didn't accept her, and all she couldn't bear all this life. So that's how the LGBTQ plus Arabic speakers, people even in exile, are received in the news. So we need to tell stories, no more in news. That's why we want to publish, or we are creating actually Dar Nuwas as LGBTQ plus publishing house. Also, like our publishing house would not be exclusive for Arabic speaker writers. I would say we will translate also like English, French, Italian, queer literature into Arabic. For example, we have Salim Haddad who wrote Guapa, and he won an award. His writing is amazing, was recognized in the UK and the world. But his book is not published in Arabic yet. He has Arabic background, but he wrote a book in English. We need Guapa to be published in Arabic, for example. We need to publish Amru also, his beautiful book, Life as a Unicorn. We need to publish it for the young people who speaks Arabic, or who came recently to Europe and to the UK. We need to publish it in Arabic for them to understand themselves and for their families to understand their children and their kids. We need to publish A.M. Foster, also his classic Morris, for example. I studied it back in Damascus and at Damascus University as I studied English literature. I studied more A.M. Foster, but they never mentioned his homosexuality, or at least this beautiful novel Morris. So we need to be inclusive, and we also like exchange the Western and the Eastern culture in Dar Nuwas. our team, my dream team, I call it. You know, they are LGBTQ plus people, writers, young and artists. Their life on the edge now because they live between the racist communities and the disapproving communities, and they navigate their life in exile today. For example, we have Sarah Khayyab. She is a writer and artist. We have Ward Zara. They are writer and artists. We need to publish the story of Ward, how they their transition from a female to male, and how proud they are and how unique their story is. We have Firaz Saleh. He is also a refugee and he is a graphic designer. And we are planning, as like our plan now, to include more. We have more, I'm just showing the team, but we have more queer Arabic speakers, people living in the UK, Europe, and around the world. They are interested in in our pre-workshops to work together to make this project happen, and to also to do some content to test our content on social media. We care about the safety so much because we know how our life is as Arab, Muslim, Christian, Jewish. We came from the Middle East and from conservative communities or disapproving. So our safety is sorted by publishing ebooks, podcasts, and audiobooks, and also we are aiming to create online Arab Pride with we create active, we are inspired by the quarantine when the life became online. We want to do yearly Arabic Pride, and in June, and include all the Arabic speakers in this, and they can watch concert talks with writers, activists, and also learn about themselves. Health also is very important. We consider it, sexual health, because unfortunately, as many of you know, that it's kind of forbidden topics to talk even in families. Also, we are aiming that we prevent the Arabic queers, especially the writer, from becoming marginalized. Actually, I would talk from my personal experience. It's frustrating when somebody asks me, anyone actually, not who should be involved in cultural scene or in the literature landscape in the UK, when they ask me, if my books are translated or published in Arabic, I feel really ashamed that my language doesn't accept my writing. So Dar Nuwas hopefully will offer this it's a solution for Arabic queer writer. Sorry, I felt just emotional about that because it's really personal thing to me. What would really help from you guys and from everybody? We need always partners to collaborate with. We are searching for Storytel. We are communicating with Spotify, as it's a Swedish company, and we have Swedish volunteers in our house. So we need partners to collaborate with. We need volunteers, of course, to start our website and to lead us to register our company in the UK. And of course, we need funding, as that's a message from my team, Sarah. She says, we look fancy and we look stylish, the gay people, but we are so poor. So we need funding to start our company. And in the end, we are starting revolution. I hope you are with us. Thank you so much.